Yeah. This kit build is going to be the Bandai 144 scale Slave 1. I'm eager to do this kit because it's a paint job that's kind of complex and I've never done that. So I'm really looking forward to it. I am going to light this kit. So without further ado, let's get it. Got my test fit here. Bandai kits, when they go together, they kind of snap together and you can't get the parts apart from each other very easily. So I wind up cutting the posts down and widening the holes that the posts go into so that I can put it together and pull it apart a lot easier. I am going to be doing this in flight mode, so I will be gluing these pieces together. They do move, but I'm going to glue them in place. So what I need to do now is I need to take the cockpit out and then we'll start working on the cockpit. Here are the pieces for the cockpit, and then of course you have your teeny tiny Boba Fett's, one standing and then one for the seat in the cockpit. I'll be painting that later. So the first thing I did after all the test fitting was there's some injector pin marks, as you can see here, and there were some here and here, and I've sanded those down so that they won't show. The ones in the back are not going to show. There's two pieces that hold the cockpit, and they slide into this little slot right here. Push all the way back, so then the cockpit goes together like this, and then you can rotate the cockpit for landed or flight mode. I'm also going to be gluing this into place because I'm not going to need it to move because I want to be in flight mode. So now I'm going to get some drill bits out, and then I'll start drilling some holes for where I want my lighting. And what I've got here is 10 pieces of micro drill bits. This is 0.3 millimeter. So the lights in the cockpit, I'm going to use 0.25 fiber optic, and these work perfect for those. You can get it on Amazon or eBay. I can't remember exactly where I got it from, but they're really small bits, and then you just pick the spot you want and drill the hole through, which I've already drilled 5 holes in this little console here. So now I need to move on to other parts of the cockpit. I've glued these two pieces together. This is where my fiber optics will go in for the console. And then I've cut this piece off and then drilled some holes so that I can feed all my fibers through here. This piece is not glued in yet. And then they'll slide through here. And this piece connects to here. And what I have is I have a hole that I've drilled all the way through here so I can feed all my fiber optics through here, and also the wires for the SMD that'll go in here for the overhead light. So those parts are ready to be primed. In the main cockpit area, I'm not doing the landed version, so these two pieces here go with the landed version with the door open, the back cargo door open. So I went ahead and put those in there to add some more detail in the bottom part, because the top part has quite a bit of detail, the bottom part doesn't have any, hardly at all. So that should help with that. Drilled a larger hole here for some red SMDs to go in, and I had some photo etch. I believe it's from the Colonial Viper Mark II green strawberry photo etch set. So that's where those will go. The base part where those bottom chairs were, I don't like those chairs, so I took some chairs from the U-Wing, the Bandai U-Wing, and those are going to be my chairs for down there at the bottom. They just have a lot more detail on them. I'll be able to paint them up, and they should look pretty good. This is the top part here. I don't think I'm going to put any fiber optics in there. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And then Boba Fett's chair, what I did was I took a small drill and I just drilled a hole in the corner there and then cut off the excess to kind of make it like a little headrest or something. He'll cover up most of the chair, but at least it'll give it some more detail, so when I do dry brushing and stuff, it'll help it pop out a little bit more. I've got all my holes drilled. I think I'm pretty much set to be able to go ahead and prime these pieces. So I'm going to prime these pieces, and then I can start doing the detail painting on the cockpit. A quick little test fit here. Everything got primed with Stynel Res black primer. It's a Badger product. It's the best primer I've ever found. And then I did some Vallejo Model Air camouflage dark green, and then some Model Air dark gray blue. So what I have is I have this whole piece here, this side piece I did with the green, and then the rest of the stuff that goes on top, the chairs and the console and all that, I did in the blue. So got a good little color combination going there. So now everything's set for some detail, so I'm going to do some dry brushing and some detail work and some wash, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I've gone in and put in some highlight colors, like this little tan color here. I used Model Air concrete, and then for the silver areas I'm using this new Mecha color from Vallejo. They're really good colors, and that's a dark steel. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original dark gray blue and the camouflage dark green, and I'm going to lighten each one. I'm going to do some dry brushing. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, I got the very light dry brush. What I wound up using was the dark gray blue Model Air, and instead of lightening it with another blue or something like that, I wound up just kind of lightening it with that dark steel, which worked out really good because it kind of gives me that cold steel look. It's still the same color, but then with that dark steel in it, it gives me a little sheen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Vallejo black wash, and I'm going to do a very light black wash over everything, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Here it is with a light wash on it. It's probably 5 parts water to 1 part wash. And now that this is all dry, I'm going to go back in and lighten up the colors and spots, and do some more highlights and some more dry brushing. Then I'll come back and show you when I get all that done. I think I got this pretty much where I want it. Got some good color, some contrast. Looks good. So I think now I've got it all ready for lighting. So lighting is going to be part 2. So this is going to do it for part 1. I want to thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing, and I will see you for part 2.